Testing 1 2. Check 1 2. Make sure it's really hot because they don't need low volume.
Yep, only one.
Good. Excellent. Okay, folks. I'm not even squared up, am I?
I see the cat down there.
Huh?
I see the cat down there by your side.
No, cat's not here. I locked him in my room.
Then I'm truly losing my mind.
Yes, you are. Okay, we're on a rocking ship.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, folks. Don't mind me. It's just a Christmas present from my wife. Little cavados. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah. Little essence of pear. All right. Well, I wanted to give you this video before Christmas so that you'd have an idea what to buy or what not to buy. But it didn't happen. My sister fell off a ladder and broke her shoulder and her knee. She got rushed to the hospital, and we've spent our Christmas pretty much dealing with her, so I wasn't able to make this video on time. But we'll get it to you before New Year's Day. That's the goal. Today, we are looking at the Kowa Genesis 44 Prominar. And there's a reason for it. That is my ongoing search for binoculars that I'm cheating. I'm able to get alpha class views through something much less expensive. And the reason I chose this one is I really was looking at the Myopta Meostar. The gentleman who does the Optica Exotica reviews on YouTube, he was really impressed with the Myopta Meostars and thought that they were, in his opinion, basically falling into Leica territory, as he would put it, or something like that. Basically Leica color and sharpness, and he really appreciated it. And when I heard that, I was thinking, okay, maybe this is something to check out. But then I ran into a review by Holger Merlitz where he was comparing the Kowa with the Myopta Meostar B1 and also the Vortex Razor HD. And this is what came out on top, according to him. Not only did it come out for sharpness, but he said the contrast was beyond the others. The contrast was absolutely excellent, as he would put it. We'll give you that. At the end of this, we'll link you to that one. So I'm thinking, well, there, I'll cut out that step and just take a further step. Problem is, these things, you can find them for as much as $1,200. That was kind of out of the class that I wanted to be paying for. I wanted to see what we could get without paying that kind of money. Well, I managed to do it in the end because I found these on sale. They were a open box demo at a particular store. They sold them to me for $850. That's pretty much what I would consider the limit. And they came to me, as far as I'm concerned, other than a slight, you know what? The blemish is gone. Must have rubbed off. So there. Let's just get into the pros. The pros are this. It's very sharp. The contrast is gorgeous, outstanding. The color, absolutely white, neutral. I see no tint. What's more, as far as color aberration, of every roof prism I have ever looked through, this thing is tops. It has so much control over color aberration, and I'll tell you how I know, because recently I've discovered in my own neighborhood a perfect means of drawing out color aberration. We have a particular wall where in the afternoon, when the light is shining on it from the sun, it's just gleaming. And absolutely any binocular I've had where I've had difficulty forcing, that aberration out, with this, if it's there at all, boom, it's there in spades. And I could actually set up a scale of sorts and just tell you, how many inches of purple halo you're going to get. With this thing, it was a struggle to see the slightest razor thin. Basically, it was like the edge of a razor on the edge of that wall, where usually it looks about like this. Some binoculars like this. This is amazing as far as color. If that's what's important to you, the Japanese have nailed it. I got to hand it to them for that. Now, other than that, more that I can say good about it is the focus. I do not like focusers that are too fast. I don't like flying past my object, my perfect focus, and then having to double back. You don't get that with this. It is fast. It's a very fast focus, but it's heavily damped and extremely smooth. And on top of that, it's so frickin' long that it's not a problem having two opposing fingers isometrically operating it, and you can just stop exactly where you want. It's really nice. Doesn't drift on you. That's one of the benefits of it being, so heavily damped. It's not going to just brush against something and move so easily. Another pro, it has a lockable diopter. Allow me to demonstrate the lockable diopter. You will have to raise your eye cup to have access to it. You pull up, rotate, and here's the thing. With this, it is a bit stiff. In fact, my son thought that it was of an intermittent design. Actually, it isn't. It will smoothly lock, but you have to force it down from both sides. You can't simply press from one. It will just hang there. Once you've got it in position, you're set for life. The eye cups are very secure. They're probably the most secure eye cups. In fact, they were kind of hard at first to even extend. But by golly, they ain't going to move on you. Now, with my glasses, I'm actually going to have these down all the time. And I've heard some people complain that these are somehow too thick. I don't know what they're talking about. I have no problem with them. My son had no problem with them. They're actually quite nice. And what I also experienced is that when you look through this thing, it's extremely, there's no struggle to get your eyes in exactly the right position. It's a very, what do they call it? Do they call it an eye box? I've heard some people call it that, or a light box. Whatever the terminology, you throw them up to your eyes, and it's very easy to just be centered. And what's more, you don't have an indistinct edge of field. It's a beautiful dark circle. Got your image, and then it's like framed perfectly. I've even looked through Swarovskis that it just kind of looked a bit fuzzy. Didn't hurt my enjoyment of it, but this thing is really nice in that department. If you don't understand what I mean, you just probably have to look through one. Other advances that you can get with this thing is the fact that they've threaded the objectives to take filters of whatever size. I don't know what size. I'm not going to use any. In fact, I'm not even going to keep this. And that's where the cons come in. Yeah, it's sharp and it has great color and no problem with color aberration. Great contrast, all that. But it's a bit heavy. It has a very nice rubberized coating, but a bit heavy. And this doesn't really bother me. It might bother you because it's a heavy binocular. There's no means to mount this to a tripod. There's no 1" 20 threads on this thing. You'll have to strap it down. I don't bother with tripods, so it's neither here nor there for me. But there's definitely some cons. I'd say the biggest one is the fact that it didn't make it. And it's not really a hit against this thing. I mean, I took it out, did the 1951 test target. I had to put it up against something, so I got out the Steiner. If any of you remember my review of the Steiner, I was pretty down on that thing in some ways. I perceived it as having kind of a soft focus, kind of a washed out look. I didn't like the fact that the independent focus didn't snap. So, you can just keep turning it and thinking, oh, I've actually went beyond where I should be. It can be a little bothersome, especially the fact that it's supposed to have the sports focus, and I won't need to alter it. But you do. You will have to know settings. Anyway, I took it out, and at 8.5 power, that's what this is, 8.5 by 44. I kind of anticipated that it would penetrate a little bit deeper than any of my standard 8 powers. It didn't do that. The Steiner still ruled, just like it did against the Leica Trinovid. Leica Trinovid didn't really make it past group -1, element 1. That's what this did. Now, it did it very easily. And the contrast in this binocular is fabulous. And the bars, the black bars, horizontal and vertical, snapped out pretty easily, pretty nice. It was a nice, glossy, shiny, luxurious picture. But it didn't make it to element 2, which is what the Steiner was doing at 8 power. That was kind of what told me in my initial assessment of the Steiner that, yeah, it evidently has $1,000 optics, because, there it is. It's doing better than everything else. I didn't expect it to do better than this thing. Well, I wasn't satisfied with that. That was just an initial test. I decided, well, I got the thing to see how it would perform against alpha binoculars, so we went to Bass Pro Shops where they have the Swarovskis and the Leicas and set to work comparing ELs and ultravids against this. And boy, there really is something to alpha glass. You can see the difference. It can be pretty astounding. Very, very nice to look through. This came close. It came close, but I've taken up this tendency now to talk about thresholds and plateaus. This didn't cross the threshold. It's definitely on the other side of the river from Alpha. It's certainly a step up from the last thing that I reviewed, which was the Athlon Cronus. The Athlon Cronus, it made it, as I pointed out, into that category of a razor UHD. It managed to have essentially the same ability to resolve fine print across a store. Definitely better than the Viper. But in a store, you don't really have, I mean, it's not the outdoors. It's artificial lighting. It's not the best place to do any real testing. That Cronus, yeah, okay. So it's able to make out what the UHD was seeing. It probably is not going to be the same as a UHD in practical use outdoors. You're going to see the difference. It doesn't have the ability to resolve. Why would I say that? Well, because I tested it against the BPO, and it was a full element down below the BPO. It's the BPO that equaled the 10x42 UHD. So in the same manner, this thing, it's a step above that. I'd say it's just one step away from being Alpha. But it didn't make it. And what kind of bugged me is at that very moment when I was in the shop, noticing that it was one step away, it made me think about that Steiner and how the Steiner was, pulling in deeper view, better resolution. And it really made me wonder, I may have underrated that Steiner. I'm going to keep that original review up so you guys can see the evolution of my thoughts. But I wasn't willing to let that stand. So we went to a Christmas parade nearby. And while everyone was looking at the parade, I was actually busy looking the other way at various depths of greenery, including a Washingtonian palm. And if you don't know what the Washingtonian palm is, unlike the sable palms here in Florida, it has a light green frond, very shiny, very glossy. And when I looked at it through this, yeah, okay, it looks like exactly what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that palm tree. This is showing me exactly that palm tree. So I thought. But you know what I brought with me? I brought the toy, the little Seiko Zoom 8x32 anti-poro prism. And I looked at it, and as far as I could tell, while this may have had a bit better contrast, the color was better on the toy. The tree was so lusciously glossy and real, like you could touch it, compared to this. This is good Japanese glass. And yet the toy was doing better. I pulled out the Steiner from the bag, and now I'm seeing everything this is seeing, but sharper. Sorry, it was sharper. And that wonderful 3D image, that depth, totally outstripped this thing. That was depressing because I really thought initially I'd nailed it. But hey, you learn, right? Um, we walked back to the car to pack up, and before we packed everything up, I gave everything to my wife. And as usual, she didn't know what this was because, I buy these things without telling her. And she just knows that I'm spending money that she'd rather me not spend. That's my New Year's resolution, by the way, is we're going to be paring down the collection. But I had her take time to focus every instrument and pick her targets, which was, again, distant trees. And I recorded that one. And she ranked them. Of those 3 binoculars, she did her own ranking. And here it is. Okay.
Okay, which one is this one?
That is the Kowa Genesis 44 Prominar. 8.5 by 44.
Okay, this is very nice.
Okay, now
it was kind of difficult for me to find my right eye. It was difficult to set it straight, to stretch it for the distance between my 2 eyes. I did not enjoy finding my best.
So it's stiff?
Yeah. I stretch it too far, I squeeze it too close. It's not easy to find my perfect stretch here.
Okay.
But it's very pretty.
All right, try the other one. That's the Steiner.
Steiner?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This, you're telling me that this is only 8 power?
Yeah.
This seems to me much larger object.
Well, it might have a wider apparent field of view.
Well, it looks very, very large and very detailed. It's beautiful, perfection.
How does it compare to the Kowa?
Well, the peripheral vision gets blurry a little bit on this one, but it's all the way to the edge. It's not. Yeah, I like this so much better. This is just beautiful. 3D picture. And I'm in it. I'm absolutely present right into the palm tree over there.
Mm-hmm.
I can see like the birds are flying by me.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Now, I want
It's a little heavy though. It's heavy.
Okay, try that little Sequel Zoom toy.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I lost power. Everything got smaller. It's beautiful.
That's actually 8 power.
This is beautiful.
Really?
Yeah.
How does it compare?
So my favorite is the heavy one.
Mm-hmm.
This is my second favorite. This doesn't have the beautiful bright colors of the large one, but it's very natural. I mean, these are the actual colors.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It doesn't have that 3D that. No, it does have it.
Not really. It's the lenses are too close together.
No, it's almost like a construction paper made art. It's not. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this one is my favorite, the big one.
Okay. Now you say that's your fave.
This is my favorite. It fits me best. It's very heavy for me, but it fits me perfectly in my hands and on my face and around my eyes, and it's just beautiful. This is the best, and the best picture, the best colors. Everything is beautiful. This is my favorite.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what you think of that? The thing is, I agree. I completely agree with everything she said. It was exactly how I experienced it. and the degree to which I was able to piece out pine needles. I love doing pine needle tests because, you know, you at various distances you can really start grading your optics for exactly how sharp they are. And what I was noticing was not merely that it was better, but it was so similar to what I was seeing when I was looking through the Leicas and the Swarovski. It was sharp enough to cross that threshold. And I'm not saying it's as good as the others. I'm actually going to test it later against them. But I am going to say that from the best of my ability to evaluate those optics, in light of all the new information that I had, it crossed over. It was definitely $1,000 optics and more. I actually think now I probably got an alpha binocular. I didn't even know it. And I think it owes an awful lot to the light gathering capability of that binocular. That was a revelation. I've had a number of revelations recently. That's definitely one right there. And I will, if I have to, I'll drive down to Miami to the Leica store, and I'm going to be comparing that thing to a Noctivid. I was anticipating picking up a Noctivid just to have something ultimate to test stuff against. But you know what? I may have it already. If I do that trip, that little vacation to Miami, I'll let you know what we find out. What really strikes me, though, is that I don't understand why Steiner would discontinue that binocular. You know, if they had the means of making that thing with central focus, it would be the ultimate Poro. Anyway, yeah, these are going to be sold. They're very good. They're heavy, but do I need them when I have the Steiner? No, not really. By the way, if you do pick one of these things up, you'd better attach your rain guard to your neck strap, because these things don't hold at all. What can I say beyond that? It's very well built. It took a fall before we did this video off of this very table. It took a 2.5 foot fall, and I checked for any damage, collimation. It's right on the money. The Japanese can build beautiful binoculars, but all in all, I think I'm going to keep moving on. We'll give you stats now, some pictures, any reviews, or like for instance Holger Merlitz's. We'll have that for you. But this is what I'm passing on to you for the New Year's. You guys have a nice one. Bye.